Hello, my name is James C. Jones, and welcome to the first episode of Thoughts from JTJ, where I'm going to share with you strategies and processes that major corporations and even high-performance individuals use every single day to ensure success. And what better way to kick off this new year than to talk about goal setting? That's right, we've all heard that old adage, hey, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And that's so true. That's why every successful person that you've met can tell you the three big things that they're working on this year. About 10 years ago, I was listening to a Success Magazine CD where the interviewer and the interviewee were taking this concept of big three annual goals to the next level. So much so that over the past 10 years, I've adopted it. Not just in my personal life, but I also do my big three goals in my career path as well as for my own startup business. And it's important to write those down. I don't mean just put them in your phone or type them on a computer somewhere. Physically write them down in a journal or a logbook is so important, and I'll even share with you later in this episode how that helps. So of course, we start with our big three goals. That's right. What are the three things we want to obtain this year? Now, we want those to be measurable, but we don't want them to be so specific that we set ourselves up for failure. For instance, it wouldn't be fair to myself to say, hey, I want to lose exactly 17 pounds this year. One, it's really specific, and the chances of me weighing in at 17 pounds less than I did on January 1st is pretty much slim to none. But I could set myself up for a large attainable goal such as, hey, I want to be successful and read 100 books this year. That's quite a few books, but it's actually measurable and attainable. For instance, I know where I need to stand at my halfway point throughout the year, which leads us to how you get there, and that is setting up your quarterly goals. That's right, you want to set up quarterly goals that guide you to your three big goals. So if my goal in the example was to read 100 books in a year, I should know by the end of June, I should be at about 50 books. And that's clear for me where I need to stand in my quarterly. I can even stagger those. Maybe I read 20 books in the first quarter and 30 books in the second quarter. The next step is making sure that your three big goals are visible every single day to you. A great technique that I use is I actually put my big three goals on the corner of my bedroom mirror, my bathroom mirror, so that when I wake up every single morning, whether I'm thinking about them or not, I'm seeing those three goals every single day that I'm working myself towards. Another good example that I've seen is I've seen people use their cell phone screensaver as a way to chart their three big goals for the year. And that's pretty much genius, because how many times are you scrolling through your apps for the year, and seeing your three big goals in the background is a great way to subliminally capture those. The next piece and the next step is one of the most important steps, and that is execute. That's right, execute your goal. A goal is an attack against the status quo, and that requires action. So no matter how many goals you write, no matter where you put them at and how often you see them, if you don't actually go out and execute, you'll never achieve your goals. Now here's a good bonus, and this is an accountability goal. This is one that you really start to work on your own personality traits for yourself. And that is, challenge yourself by writing down three things that you want to personally change about your own self. A good way that I've done this is in the past when my kids were younger, I wanted to change my language. I had a couple of choice of words that probably weren't appropriate around kids every once in a while. So I put a rubber band around my wrist, and every time I said a curse word, even if my kids weren't around, I would pop myself. And my goal was to change my language that year. And it worked great. It was a personal goal. There was no measurement. There was no one else to track it. It was all about holding myself accountable. A good practice skill. Now that you have these goals, another thing you have to do with any set of goals is you have to track them. That's right. You have to plan, do, check, and most importantly, adjust. So now that you've got your quarterly goals, you got to see where you are every single month. So on the last day of the month, you go back to your quarterly goals, which also contain your big goals, and you want to see where you stand on your quarterly goals. And you want to make sure you're tracking positively towards those. If you're lacking in a particular goal, you want to put some focus and emphasis on that in order to make sure you hit your goal that next month. Now, how do you get yourself and how do you execute these big goals if you're only looking at them once a month? Well, every single day, you want to write down the 5 things you must do. And a good time to do this is probably somewhere between 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. when you finish with your day, you've had a little bit of time to digest, eaten a good meal, and now you need to figure out what are the 5 things you must do tomorrow, no matter what. Because we all know that if we have a plan for tomorrow, things will happen. A random email, a phone call, something didn't go as planned, but we are going to write down the 5 things we must do no matter what tomorrow. And it can't be something simple like, hey, I'm going to wake up. Well, I hope you do, but that's not really a goal. That's not really a task that you need to complete. It needs to be something more specific. Hey, I really need to set this meeting tomorrow with this client. I put it off for a couple of days. I have to send this email, have to send this calendar invite. It must happen tomorrow no matter what. If my internet goes out at home, I got to go to the library, but I've got to get it done. That's how you set yourself up for success. Now, as I promised in my intro video, I'm also going to share times where things don't go right, where these type of plans and strategies come in for help. In June 2000, and I believe it was right 16, I was running my startup, and we had a great opportunity come up from a major OEM. And when you're a small business and you have an opportunity to work with a major corporation, it's always exciting. It was exciting for me, my team, and we were all in and we were all for it. And as you can imagine, it consumed most of us for pretty much the next few months. We worked on this day and night, we planned, we flew out, we met with the potential client, we strategized, and then a great thing happened. The client asked us for a proposal and a contract. So of course, we scrambled, we put it together, we were excited to build something. But then right around November, we got an email from the client after we had sent them the contract proposal, and that was an email we weren't expecting. It was one that said, hey, simply, we've chosen to go a different direction. And as you can imagine, this was a huge letdown. And as a CEO, my attitude and my mindset carries on through the company. But there was something very fortunate that happened. This had happened at the end of the month, and I was going to check my quarterly and annual goals for the company, and I noticed something astounding. That this client, this opportunity, what felt like a missed opportunity, was never in our annual goals to begin with. It wasn't even one of our big 3. It certainly wasn't in our quarterly. It was something that came up. And when I looked closer, I quickly realized, hey, you know what? We're tracking positively on all the goals that we had set out for this year, and we're going to meet all our goals for 2016. So there's nothing to be worried about. There's no reason to be bummed out. There's no reason to be sad. And there's no reason to take kind of this bummer into the company's end of the year run. And we didn't. As Marie Forleo says, clarity comes from action, not thoughts. So be sure to write down your 3 big goals, share them in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow, and make it a great 2020.